It's hard, man. I ain't even gonna lie, it's hard. I've had to swallow some things.
In Hollywood, silence is a strategy. And for years, nobody mastered silence better than Lori Harvey.
No interviews explaining heartbreak.
No messy public arguments. No emotional Instagram essays at 2 a.m. Just flawless photos, luxury vacations, and another headline announcing that one of the most desired men in entertainment had entered and then quietly exited her orbit.
But now?
That silence is getting louder than ever. Because for the first time in years, the conversation surrounding Lori Harvey isn't about who she's dating. It's about whether the image she built is finally collapsing under the weight of public scrutiny. And in the middle of that storm stand two men whose careers seem to have exploded after walking away from her: Michael B. Jordan and Damson Idris. Coincidence? Maybe. But in Hollywood, people rarely believe in coincidence. Tonight, we're diving deep into the rise of the untouchable it girl era, the carefully curated mythology behind celebrity relationships, and why the internet suddenly feels like it's turning against one of social media's most protected stars. Because this story isn't really about one breakup. It's about power, image, control, and what happens when the fantasy people bought into starts cracking in real time. For nearly a decade, Lori Harvey represented a new kind of celebrity. She wasn't famous because of hit albums. She wasn't headlining blockbuster movies. She wasn't giving lengthy interviews or chasing controversy. Instead, she became famous for something far more powerful in the influencer age: perception. Every public appearance looked intentional. Every paparazzi photo felt cinematic. Every relationship seemed to elevate her status even further. And somehow, she always remained the mystery. That mystery became the brand. While most celebrities overshared online, Lori moved differently. She revealed just enough to keep people interested while never revealing enough to let people truly know her. In a culture obsessed with access, she built value through distance. And it worked. The internet crowned her the prize. People praised the way she moved on from relationships without public drama. Fans called her unbothered, independent, untouchable. Some even treated her dating history like a masterclass in modern relationships. But there's a dangerous side to being placed on a pedestal. The higher the pedestal, the harder the fall. And recently, the internet has started asking questions it never asked before. Why does every Lori Harvey relationship feel so heavily branded? Why do the photos always look perfectly timed? Why does every breakup arrive with almost no explanation? And why has the public narrative suddenly shifted from admiration to suspicion? Part of that shift began after Michael B. Jordan entered the picture. At the time, their relationship looked like a Hollywood fairy tale. He was already one of the biggest actors in the industry, charismatic, respected, and entering the prime of his career. Together, they looked like the ultimate power couple. Fans projected everything onto them: marriage, legacy, long-term success. And for a while, it genuinely looked real. Then suddenly, it ended. Quietly.
Coldly.
Almost clinically.
No explosive interviews.
No public fighting. Just distance. At first, many people assumed Michael was heartbroken while Lori simply moved on. That became the narrative online. But as the years passed and Michael's career skyrocketed even further, public perception slowly started changing. People began revisiting old interviews, old body language clips, old rumors, old timelines. And the internet did what the internet always does. It started creating theories. Some claimed Michael was far more serious about the relationship than Lori was. Others argued Lori prioritized lifestyle and image over long-term commitment. Then came the more extreme online rumors: secret business arrangements, PR relationships, hidden agendas, claims that spread rapidly despite little verified evidence. Suddenly, online commentators started painting Lori not as independent, but strategic. Not as mysterious, but calculated. Not as the prize, but as someone benefiting from proximity to powerful men while offering very little publicly herself. Fair or unfair, that narrative spread fast. And in the social media age, perception spreads faster than facts. Now here's where the story becomes bigger than Lori Harvey herself. Because what we're really witnessing is the collapse of a very specific type of celebrity culture. For years, social media rewarded aesthetics over substance. If someone looked glamorous enough, moved mysteriously enough, and appeared attached to wealth and success, audiences filled in the blanks themselves. Influencers became icons through presentation alone. And that's where things became dangerous. Because social media no longer separates speculation from reality. Once a rumor becomes entertaining enough, people start treating it like documented truth. That's exactly what happened when Damson Idris entered the conversation. Damson wasn't just another celebrity boyfriend. He represented something else entirely: momentum. His career was rising rapidly. Hollywood was paying attention. Studios were investing in him. Audiences were embracing him globally. And once again, Lori Harvey was standing beside another man entering a major career breakthrough. To some fans, that reinforced her image as a woman attracted to successful men. But to critics, it became fuel for an entirely different narrative. Luxury vacations became proof of success. Designer outfits became proof of power. Silence became proof of confidence. But eventually, audiences start wanting more. And in 2026, people are increasingly obsessed with authenticity. They want receipts. They want transparency. They want substance. That shift is why so many celebrity brands are struggling right now. The audience that once admired curated perfection is becoming suspicious of it instead. And Lori Harvey may be experiencing the harshest version of that shift. Because once the internet decides to reinterpret your image, every old detail suddenly looks different. The same mystery people once admired now gets labeled performative. The same privacy once called classy now gets labeled strategic. The same glamorous lifestyle once envied now gets questioned. Where does the money come from? How sustainable is the brand? What's real and what's marketing? These questions aren't unique to Lori Harvey. They're being asked about influencers across the entire entertainment industry. But Lori became a lightning rod because her brand depended so heavily on image, and image is fragile. The moment public perception changes, the entire structure shakes. One of the biggest reasons the conversation intensified is because Michael B. Jordan and Damson Idris both continued thriving professionally after their relationships ended. Michael expanded his reputation beyond acting into directing and producing. Damson's global profile continued rising. Fans began comparing their career trajectories before and after those relationships, creating viral narratives online about glow-ups and freedom. Again, there's no proof Lori Harvey harmed their careers. But perception online rarely waits for proof. The internet loves simple stories. And the simplest story became this. The men flourished after leaving. That narrative exploded because it fit perfectly into the current backlash culture surrounding influencer, celebrity lifestyles. People are exhausted by branding disguised as personality. They're tired of relationships feeling like marketing campaigns. Tired of luxury content that feels disconnected from reality. Tired of curated perfection. So when Lori's image collided with that cultural fatigue, the backlash intensified fast. But here's the part nobody talks about enough. Hollywood itself helped create this machine. The entertainment industry thrives on fantasy. Studios sell fantasies. Influencers sell fantasies. Publicists shape fantasies. Entire careers are built around maintaining illusions people emotionally invest in. The public says it wants authenticity, but the industry rewards performance. That's why celebrity relationships often feel cinematic, because many of them are designed to. Not necessarily fake, but optimized. Optimized for attention. Optimized for headlines. Optimized for engagement. Optimized for branding. And Lori Harvey became one of the most optimized celebrity figures of the social media era. Every relationship elevated her visibility. Every breakup increased intrigue. Every appearance reinforced the mythology. But mythology becomes dangerous once audiences stop believing in it. Now critics are re-examining everything. Her skincare line gets scrutinized. Her interviews get dissected. Her social media posts get mocked. Even harmless photos become evidence in online conspiracy theories. That's the brutal cycle of internet fame. The same audience that builds you can dismantle you overnight. And once backlash begins, every silence starts looking suspicious. What makes this situation even more fascinating is the role gender politics plays in the discussion. For years, many fans celebrated Lori Harvey specifically because she seemed to reverse traditional dating expectations. Instead of women being publicly embarrassed by powerful men, people viewed Lori as the one in control. She represented freedom to many supporters. Freedom to leave relationships. Freedom to prioritize herself. Freedom to move on without apology. But now the backlash against her reveals how quickly public empowerment narratives can shift once audiences decide someone is too calculated. The exact traits once celebrated become criticized. Confidence becomes arrogance. Privacy becomes manipulation. Selective visibility becomes opportunism. And honestly, that says as much about internet culture as it does about Lori Harvey herself. Because modern celebrity culture demands contradictions. People want stars to be glamorous but relatable, private but transparent, confident but humble, successful but somehow never strategic. That impossible balancing act destroys people publicly all the time. Now, let's address the biggest reason this story exploded: the rumors. Online gossip channels began pushing increasingly dramatic claims involving secret investigations, offshore money, Dubai lists, hidden contracts, staged relationships, and coordinated Hollywood alliances. To be clear, there's no verified public evidence supporting most of these allegations. But sensational rumors spread because they satisfy something emotionally addictive: the desire to believe there's a hidden truth behind celebrity perfection. People love the idea that glamorous lives secretly contain chaos. And YouTube commentary culture thrives on that tension. The problem is that entertainment and reality often become blurred together. Speculation turns into insider information. Anonymous posts become sources. Viral theories become evidence. Before long, millions of people are discussing narratives that may have little connection to reality at all. That doesn't stop the damage, because even false narratives can permanently reshape public perception. And that's the real danger of internet fame in 2026. Not cancellation, not criticism, but narrative loss. Once you lose control of your narrative, the audience starts writing the story for you. That's what appears to be happening now. Meanwhile, Michael B. Jordan's silence has become its own kind of statement. He rarely addresses past relationships publicly. He focuses on projects, interviews, business moves, and career expansion. That restraint has actually strengthened his image during this entire conversation. Because in Hollywood, silence can function as power. The less he says, the more people project onto him. Damson Idris benefits from a similar effect. His growing success creates contrast. And contrast creates storytelling. Online audiences naturally compare trajectories. One side appears focused on career legacy. The other appears trapped in image discourse. Again, fair or unfair, perception becomes reality online. And perception is now the battlefield. What's especially brutal is how quickly the internet turns women into symbols. Lori Harvey is no longer being discussed simply as a person. She's being treated as a representation of entire ideas: modern dating culture, influencer lifestyles, PR relationships, celebrity feminism, luxury branding. That's an impossible weight for any public figure to carry. But it's also the cost of becoming an icon through image alone, because image-based fame is powerful but unstable. Unlike artists whose reputations depend on music, acting, or athletic performance, influencer-style fame depends heavily on public emotional investment. Once audiences emotionally detach, everything becomes vulnerable. That's why engagement shifts matter so much. That's why headlines matter so much. That's why online narratives matter so much. And right now, the narrative is shifting fast. Some fans still defend Lori Harvey passionately. They argue she's being unfairly targeted simply for dating successful men. Others believe society punishes women for exercising the same dating freedom men have had for decades. And honestly, there's truth in that conversation. At the same time, Critics argue that celebrity branding built purely around aesthetics eventually collapses because there's no deeper foundation underneath it. That tension is exactly why this story has captured so much attention. It's not just gossip anymore. It's become a debate about modern fame itself. What actually makes someone influential? What counts as success? How much of celebrity culture is authentic? And how much is carefully manufactured illusion? Those questions extend far beyond Lori Harvey. They apply to an entire generation of internet-famous personalities whose careers depend on maintaining aspiration rather than demonstrating craft. And maybe that's why audiences seem harsher now. Economic pressure has changed public attitudes. People struggling financially don't romanticize luxury content the same way they once did. They want value, meaning, achievement. That cultural shift explains why audiences increasingly celebrate visible work over visible lifestyle. Michael B. Jordan winning awards resonates because people can point to the work. Damson Idris landing major film success resonates because audiences can see career growth. But influencer mystique without obvious substance becomes harder to sustain during cultural shifts. That doesn't mean Lori Harvey lacks talent or business ability. It means public expectations are changing faster than many celebrity brands can adapt. And adaptation is survival in Hollywood. So, where does this leave Lori Harvey? Honestly, nowhere near finished. Internet backlash feels permanent when you're inside the moment, but celebrity culture moves incredibly fast. Today's controversy becomes tomorrow's forgotten headline. The real question isn't whether she survives this. It's whether she evolves. Can she transform from an image-driven celebrity into someone audiences connect with more deeply? Can she separate herself from relationship discourse? Can she build a brand rooted in identity rather than mystery? Because mystery alone eventually expires. Audiences always want the next thing. And if there's one lesson Hollywood teaches repeatedly, it's this. Fame built on fascination is temporary. Fame built on substance lasts longer. Still, we should be careful about pretending we know celebrities personally. The internet turns strangers into characters. We start speaking about public figures like fictional villains and heroes when the reality is usually much more complicated. None of us truly know what happened inside those relationships. None of us know the private pressures of celebrity life. And none of us know how much of the online narrative is real versus exaggerated entertainment. But what we can see clearly is this. The era of effortless influencer mystique is changing. Audiences are becoming more skeptical, more analytical, more demanding. And celebrities who built empires through carefully controlled image management are entering a much harsher phase of internet culture. Lori Harvey may simply be the most visible example right now. Whether she reinvents herself or fades from relevance depends on what happens next. Because Hollywood always loves a comeback story almost as much as it loves a downfall, and if history has taught us anything, it's that public opinion changes faster than headlines can keep up. One successful project, one authentic interview, one unexpected reinvention. That's all it takes to shift the narrative again. But until then, the conversation continues. The rumors keep spreading. The commentary channels keep speculating. The audience keeps choosing sides. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise sits the uncomfortable truth about modern celebrity culture. The public creates icons, then waits impatiently to watch them fall. So now the question moves to you. Is Lori Harvey genuinely experiencing the collapse of a carefully curated image? Or are we watching the internet punish another woman for mastering the exact same celebrity game Hollywood has rewarded for decades? And maybe the bigger question is this. In an era obsessed with branding, luxury, and perception, does anybody really know what's real anymore?